is another band. All the Mars and cars now, whichever get up. Light up my scars with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag it. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crossroads Boxing, the recap show. I am here with Ra. He's my co-host today. How are we doing, Ra?
Fab. Well, we've got a summer of boxing, haven't we?
Yes, it's this weekend was full. Friday night card, the women's card, and Saturday the men's card. So just before we get into it, we just go to the D-Rock Clothing promo. Oh, we're back. I don't know what's happening. My screen's gone a bit strange on me. But yeah, a full weekend of boxing. Ra, where would you like to start? I think we might as well start on obviously Friday's card. The Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano 3, which nobody really wanted. I didn't think the third fight was warranted. But if we go and we start, there was four main fights on that card. I've just pulled it up there. You had Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall, sorry. Ellie Scottley versus is it Marine? I can't remember.
Miranda.
Miranda, that's the one. We had Baumgartner versus Marina. We also had Chantel Cameron versus Jessica Kamara, which isn't on this. And then obviously Taylor Serrano 3. Which fight do you want to start with? Shall we start with the Savannah versus Green fight for the world title, unified world champion?
Yeah.
What did you make of that fight? What you saw of it? If you caught it?
I only caught highlights, so looked like it was a good competitive fight. Some people are saying Savannah was unlucky. Maybe. But I mean, how much is her heart still in this game? I mean, she's sort of flitting between the boxing and the MMA. She's not really active, and I guess you can get fed up just by the sheer lack of opponents. Because I mean, how many women are there at super middleweight? I think there's like a dozen worldwide.
Yeah,
I guess she had to almost forced to have her hands in other pies, and that might have cost her against Green.
The fight itself, it was a really good fight. I scored it 5-5, and then with the point taken off on Green, I had it Savannah winning. But when they gave it to Green, I wasn't upset. I felt like she deserved it as well. It was one of those fights that it went either way. I think the point deduction wasn't really warranted that much. It was a bit of a pointless one for me, but nevertheless, they did that. But the first scorecard, I think they gave it to Green by 1, which I kind of went, yeah, I could see that. The other one where they gave it to Green by like 3 or 4 rounds, I couldn't see it. I don't know what they were watching, but all in all, it was a good fight. Like I said, I don't know how much Savannah really wants it anymore. Yeah, she's always seemed like that. She's really withdrawn when it comes to like the media or anything, even promoting herself. She's quite a withdrawn person. She's not out there. So I think it's hard to market Savannah. It's really hard to market her, especially after the loss to Shields, which was her marketability came from she was the only person to beat Shields in the Olympics, or whatever it was. And once she lost that fight to Shields in the pro, I think the luster of Savannah being something sort of went away with that.
Yeah.
As well as that division not having that many women who who are stars, or you know what I mean. There's Savannah, and that's about it. Not Savannah, sorry, Clarissa. And outside Clarissa in that name, there isn't any other names.
Yeah, exactly that. Unless this Canadian lady Tam Thibault, who fought on the undercard, unless she can come through. I get the impression also Green signed with MVP. Maybe they want to build her up as an opponent for Clarissa. She is a New Yorker, but based on a couple of her performances at the top level, she's not a female Mike Tyson, is she?
No, no, I don't believe she beats Clarissa. I think she was I'm not going to say lucky to get the decision against Savannah, but it was a close fight with Savannah. I just think Shields is just far and above. That's why she's having to go to heavyweight and move different weights to get fights, because she's just far too superior with these girls up there in that weight. It's just a shame Shields isn't, you know what I mean, a 147, 140, 147 fighter, because had she been that, there's some great matchups to have. But unless these girls are moving up to fight her, I think she's always going to have that weight advantage over them. And she's got speed at that weight as well. It's not as if she's slow at that weight. She's fast. And she's fighting big girls, and she's hurting them. So it's tough for Shields. It was really tough for her, but we'll see. I think the plan is for Shadeja Green to get the Shields fight. Hopefully we can get that. But we'll see. The next fight on the card, we had, we'll go with Ellie Scottney. She retained the world title. Was it unified? I think she unified now.
Yeah, she got 3 of the 4 belts.
Yeah, so 3 of the 4 belts. I watched this fight. I think a really good performance from Ellie. I think she boxed well. I really like how she boxes. She's got really good balance about her when she fights, on her attacks, on her defense. I think she's an active fighter as well, where, I mean, by active is she moves, her hands are always moving, her feet are always moving. She's always looking to get a shot in somewhere. I really like her style, and I think she can be undisputed in it. I think in the women's divisions you can get undisputed quite quickly, and I like that about it. I think next either another unification fight next for her. What did you make of the performance?
Brilliant. I think she could well be the best women's boxer in Britain. I guess it's out of her and Chantel. But I think Ellie obviously is much younger. So she's got a lot more time to sort of cement her greatness. Yeah, great performance. She needs a big win. And with someone like Sky Nicholson having now started campaigning at super bantamweight, could give her a big name. Well, as you said, she'll easily get sort of undisputed. Do you know who the WBA champ is?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up.
Boxrec don't list them anymore, so. But
no, yeah, that's the problem.
I think get that undisputed, beat Sky Nicholson, and then hopefully by then someone will have emerged at featherweight. I think that might be where she sort of really gets challenged against someone like Karis Artings. I'd hope. Karis, though, I mean, her career's just in limbo now, like most of boxers.
And I was just about to say, all that boxers there, but it seems like everyone's in limbo at this moment in time. You've got, so they've got so many fighters. You've got obviously Ben Whitaker was out in New York, sat right next to Eddie, front row. So it looks like he's buddying up with Eddie, looking to move. It's the women really, because they had a lot of the women, and people like Artis and Caroline, their contracts was completely different to other fighters, whereas they came in as Sky fighters. They were the flagship fighters for Sky. I think Lauren's the same as well. Lauren Price. So like Fraser Clark as well. I think he was one. So it's difficult. We yet to see. It's gone really quiet about Boxer. Ben Shalom's gone quiet as well.
Yeah, after making a big deal about an announcement. So clearly they are struggling to get that replacement broadcast deal, which must be causing them all sorts of complications. But yeah, Ellie, yeah, I think her better challenges and bigger challenges and more high-profile fights might have to come up at featherweight. But like I said, she's still young, so there's plenty of time for her. Let's hope she gets those.
Next on the card, Chantel Cameron. She faced off with Jessica Kamara. What did you make of her performance? I think her performance was a little bit flat. I felt like she could have. I felt like she could have got Kamara out of there. I felt like she was hurting her. It just felt a little bit flat for me for what I expected from Chantel. She's a really good fighter. I do like how she fights. I think I would have liked to see the Katie trilogy instead of the Amanda trilogy. To be quite honest, I think she deserved it a lot more than Amanda did. She actually beat Katie. So yeah, I don't know what's next. Hopefully the Katie fight's next if Katie doesn't retire. But Chantel, there's plenty of fights out there for Chantel at 140.
There is, for her.
Go on.
For her abilities, though, she's not really sort of pushed on from obviously that historic win over Katie. She should be at the forefront of a lot of these big fights, but she's not really in the discussion much. Katie seemed to dismiss that fight at the press conference, and I think she is the biggest threat to Taylor, and I don't think they'll want it, and especially if she's only got a fight or two left. She's going to want to go out with a win. So I think Chantel, it looks like her best bet for some big fights are up at 147. I've seen Chantel up close. She's a big woman. She can handle herself against welters. Maya, Brian, they've had some needle in the past, and her against Price. Any of those combination fights would be good. I don't think she'll get a big fight.
Moving on to the first, there was 3 undisputed fights on the card, strangely, which is crazy. The three undisputed fights, which is bad for me. The first of the undisputed fights, you had Sugar Neeks versus Metcalf, Chicken Metcalf, and this was for me. Oh, I meant to get that up there. This for me was just a complete beatdown from minute 1 till the referee decided to show mercy to Metcalf and stop the fight. I think in the 7th round, if I'm not mistaken. From the get-go, bloody hell, her name's got out of me. Johnson. She was on the front foot from get-go. Metcalf didn't seem to have her feet under her. Her feet looked like she looked like she was on Bambi. Her legs looked like Bambi the whole fight from minute 1, going backwards in straight lines, getting caught on the end of Johnson's punches. Every shot looked like it hurt her. Going late on into the fight, I think 6th, 7th round, I was calling for the corner to stop it. I felt like the corner should have stopped the fight because there was nothing Metcalf was doing to even stop Johnson from coming forward. There was nothing. Her jab, she didn't use a jab. She was just trying to throw the one big right hand, which is not a knockout puncher. And there was no jab. Her feet wasn't. She needed to. For me, Johnson's pressure was a lot, but she needed to hold the ground, stand and fight with Johnson a little bit. Give her something to. You know what? You can't just keep coming forward, and I'm just going to retreat. And not only she was retreating, she was getting caught on the end of punches consistently all fight. And when the referee stopped it, the corner wasn't happy. Metcalf wasn't happy, but I think it was the right stoppage. There was 3 rounds left, and she looked hurt. She looked like she was going to get dropped with every shot that landed. So for me, yeah, it was a great performance by Shanika Johnson, and she's the new undisputed champion.
Yes, but there's an asterisk over that. She can't really call herself the undisputed champ until she beats Dina Torslund when she comes back from maternity leave.
Yes, that is true.
That will be a great fight. That will be a fantastic fight. But credit to Shanika, she's really come on. And considering how handily Ellie Scottney handled her a couple of years ago now. Yeah, I mean, down at bantamweight, right, she might not be the best technically, but clearly her strength, pressure, her physicality has accounted for Nina Hughes, who's obviously a much older fighter, and now Sharetta Metcalf, who, as you said, though, just looks maybe too fragile for this game at the top level. Don't know. Are there? Yeah, there's some youngsters coming up at bantamweight that can make this interesting if Shanika wants to hang around, which I would advise she does, because if she goes up to super bantamweight, she'll get the same treatment from Ellie again. But you've got Hennessy, you've got obviously Tia May, the new Matchroom hot shot. You know, there's Joanna Wonyu, the French woman. She's not bad. So you know, there's some youngsters at bantamweight, and given the pool is so small, it might not be too long before they're in that contender position. So I'd like to see her go up against some of them, and then maybe in a year from now. And of course, look, there's Ebony Bridges making her comeback.
Yes, she's just signed with Jake as well, which Shanika's with Jake as well. Jesus, yes, this is live. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, she's just signed with Jake as well. Jake, seemingly, I think he's gonna try and get his girls, whoever's in what division, he's gonna make sure they're the champions, they're the undisputed first, and then he's gonna. Then they're going to mix it up with each other. But he signed a lot of fighters, and credit to Jake. I'd definitely give him credit for that. Moving on to the second undisputed fight, we had another flat performance on me as well. Possibly, it was a very close fight. Baumgardner versus Marina. Baumgardner defending her title and not looking the same Baumgardner we've seen a couple of fights ago, maybe two fights ago. I don't
know about you. Baumgardner has been getting progressively worse since that statement knockout over Terry, and she's showing less and less punching power with each fight. So, was she ever really this big puncher, or was that just a fluke on the night, or Terry was
there's still question marks because of
so there is serious question marks about that.
Also saying that there is massive question marks out of that, but she is the only fighter I know of not to get stripped by any of the sanctioning bodies through that process, and still till this day hasn't been stripped. I know she said that statement came out, she was cleared and everything, and what the mix-up was and what the contamination. I think when it went from one lab to another lab or whatever. It stayed overnight somewhere. Some whole hullabaloo of how she's got away with it anyway. So she got
Oh,
cleared of that. But
listen,
that's go on.
she's not the only fighter to get away with this, so I'm not going to bang on about it. But whatever the case may be, she's not looking impressive. A large body of opinion thought Miranda won. I thought Miranda looked the bigger, strong fighter. And
A lot
maybe,
stronger.
maybe Baumgardner's outgrown the weight. She's 31 now. Maybe she's getting drained. But I think that should be her done at super featherweight now. There aren't any more interesting fights. The really interesting fights are all up at lightweight. So I think
she needs to move up to lightweight and fight Caroline. I think the rematch with Terry makes no sense. No one wants to see that. The only fight at that weight, if you're going to move up as the undisputed champion, and I believe if you're moving up as an undisputed champion, you either fight the best fighter in the division, and if they are not available, you fight another champion or somebody else. But you, as an undisputed champion, need to go after the best fight in the division and the person that's been calling you out and the person that you openly have beef with. You don't like each other. The words are out there on the Twitter streets. You're not a fan of each other. You know what I mean? So that being said, I think Alicia Baumgardner, going off the last few performances as well, Raf, her stock is dropping a little bit more. Her stock is higher on Instagram reels than it is in the boxing world at this moment in time. You know what I'm saying. So, I think her next step should be the Caroline fight. I love that fight. I don't need to see another fight in between. Alicia Baumgardner, you're elite level fighter. You're an undisputed champion. For me, you need to move up in weight and fight Caroline Dubois, who at the moment seemingly it's between her and Beatrice, who's the best fighter at lightweight. So
I'll tell you what. There's one circumstance where I'd accept her not going for Caroline, and that's if MVP. And Jake, if you're listening, you're a great promoter, but take my advice on this. Get a bunch of the top lightweights and put on a tournament. And so we could have the 4 lightweight champs and 4 contenders, because there's girls like that Turkish girl Turan who got that big knockout in Belfast. Baumgardner as the undisputed champ coming up. We can have a nice tournament and let them all duke it out. That's what I'd like to see. But yeah, you're right. As an undisputed champ, you're moving up in weight. There can't be no tune-ups and soft touches. You've got to go straight in with the best. Otherwise, if she stays super featherweight, not interested. Boring.
Yeah. Right. Moving on to the last fight of the night on that card, the undisputed super lightweight. Is it super lightweight?
KT against Arana, it's super lightweight.
Yeah, super lightweight, undisputed. And Katie Taylor takes it 3-0, sweep, whatever you want to call it, 3-0. Yeah, clean anything. You whatever you want to call it, you can call it that. And that is exactly what it was. And it was the worst fight out of the trilogy. It was a trilogy that nobody wanted because Katie Taylor won the first 2. People have arguments of, oh, she should have won this or this one, or she should have won that one. What was clear is she lost both fights. There wasn't a need for a third fight. And also the third fight being at a catch weight of 136 instead of 140. It being in Amanda's hometown when she lost both fights. Katie basically had everything against her in going into this fight as the winner of 2 previous fights. And she went in there, and to be honest, she didn't really have to do much to win this fight. she just had to display boxing fundamentals because Serrano seemed like she was shadow boxing the whole fight. She didn't look like she was wanting to get close to Katie to hit Katie. Every time she would throw a shot and come short with it, Katie would clip her with a left hook and just turn her. It wasn't an exciting fight. It really wasn't. It was underwhelming. It was a fight we didn't need. And to be quite honest with you, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad Amanda didn't win that one because they put everything. I don't like it when you believe you're better than somebody, but you put in so many stipulations on them in order to get into a fight with them. I don't like it. I don't see the point in it. I say the same thing with Eubank and Ben in this rematch. You want the same stipulations, even though you felt you won the first fight. Why do you need all these stipulations if you think you're better than this man? Fight fair and square, the same rules apply for each other. But hey, we know people will do anything to win. But that being said, my final word on this one is underwhelming. I'm glad Katie got the win and got it all said and done, and she can move on either retirement, which probably seeming that's what it's going to be for Katie. I don't really know what else there is for her.
Yeah, you know, like yourself, I was really disappointed in Serrano more than anything. As you said, when you're 2-0 down in a series, there's no need for a trilogy. But if you insist you won the first two, I expected a lot more. You know, I expected her to come out like a woman possessed. And I actually predicted Serrano would win by stoppage because that's what I thought she'd do. Thought if you're that sure you won the first two and you were robbed, that you would do what Pacquiao and Marquez, or what Marquez did to Pacquiao. Yeah, that's what I was expecting from Serrano. Look, at 38, I don't expect she's going to bring anything new technically, but I thought she would bring an intensity that she hadn't, you know, fought with for years. And, you know, Katie's been looking jaded for a couple of fights now. I thought that, you know, that's why I thought Serrano could do it in that sense. But, nah, after that, I don't know where Serrano goes because clearly she's not a 140-pounder. A big 140-pounder like Chantel would handle her pretty easily. And there's danger women at 135 now. Young danger women. So that might be it for Serrano. Katie, it should be it, but it seems like some of the reports are that she's put in for a fight at Croke Park. So it looks like she's going to do what most male champions do, just unable to, you know, pack this in at the right time. So, but who's she going to fight? There's no big names.
Yeah.
So,
no, you look at her record and who she's fought and beat. You mean Serrano 3 times, Chantel Cameron once, having a loss. Her only loss is to Chantel Cameron, and she revenged that. Jessica McCaskill, Natasha Jonas, Delphine Pursoon, Christina Lenarditu, bloody hell, Lenarditu, all world champions. An absolutely remarkable career from Katie Taylor. For me, I think retirement now, I'll be happy with. I think go off to the sunset. But like you said, these boxers, they don't seem to be able to give it up. And who are we to tell them to hang up what they've been doing their whole life? They should be able to, and it's fair play to her. She should be able to hang him up whenever she feels like it. She's done everything in the sport. If Manny Pacquiao can come back after 4 years of retirement and win a world title, fight for a world title, sorry, Katie Taylor can get a Croke Park farewell. And that's it for the Friday fights. It was a full night of boxing. The card. I give it a 6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think the Shadeja Green versus Savannah Marshall fight was a really good fight. I enjoyed. Ellie Scottney fight. I liked watching her. I thought Shanika Johnson, a very good fight, very good performance from her. There's I can't remember her name. Is it I can't remember her name. Who was on the undercard?
Tam Bolt, the
That's
French
the one.
Canadian,
Yes.
but I think she's based up in Sheffield with Grant Smith. I think.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, she fought as well, good performance. So yeah, I give the card a 6 out of 10. I thought Chantal's fight was a bit flat. I thought Baumgardner fight was a bit flat, and the main event. Those was the last 3 fights. The three big names. You know what I mean? Sort of big headliners in those A sides in those fights, and for me it was underwhelming. Oh, there is one fight we forgot, and I completely forgot. Ramla Ali. Ramla Ali, we completely forgot. I forgot about that fight. What did you make of that performance and decision?
Looks like she's done at the top level. Leila Furtado, by all accounts, should have been the winner, and ladies like Karis and Raven handled Leila quite conclusively. So yeah, it is at 35. Looks like Ramla left it late, like a lot of fighters do. Can't see her doing much at super bantamweight, where Ellie reigns supreme. So she's got plenty outside of boxing. I mean, you know, she does all her modelling, and you know, does she do sort of other sort of charity work and what have you. So she said apparently she's taking it one fight at a time, and yeah, maybe I'll give her one big fight against someone like another contender. But with all the belts held up by Ellie Scottney, unfortunately, it looks like her dream of being a world champion, the first of Somalian descent, unfortunately, she'll fall short. But she had a decent went to the Olympics, challenge for a world title. So
yeah, I thought it was. I watched that fight, and Ramla won 1 round for me in that fight. If you wanted to give her 2, I don't know how you would give her 2, but you could give her 2, but no, she did not win that fight. I don't know how they scored it. When I actually had that fight on, once it finished, I didn't even wait for the result. I thought I felt like I knew what I saw. you know what I mean? You know when you know a result and you're like, I don't need to hear the judges. Like, surely the judges cannot see anything different. But I came back, I looked at my phone, and the group chat was just going mad, like Ramblers. What? Wow. Salute to Thomas Hill. Salute to you, mate. Yeah, that was crazy. It was a Ramler just got overwhelmed. I think the age she's getting on now. She got overwhelmed. She couldn't fight on the inside. Her jab wasn't working. It wasn't a good performance. I don't know what's next for her. I really don't know what's next for her. To be quite honest with you. But just before we move to the men's card, I do want to just do a little plug of the 505 watch party on Saturday for Dubois Usyk versus Dubois 2. We will be having the 7th watch party. There is a banner across the bottom with the link to the tickets there, where myself, Ra as well as been before, both commentated on the watch party, which it's a great event.
Much. Great food, great vibes, great
unbelievable. Yeah, we have fun. We have fun. Everybody in there is there to watch the boxing. We all have a laugh, have a drink, and just enjoy ourselves. But yeah, we have got the links to the tickets and stuff like that is there, just on the banner at the bottom. Join us if you can. 6 p.m. East London. Check us out. We'll also be streaming live on YouTube and Twitter as well on X is the next video. So, yeah. That being said, let's move on to Saturday's card, which that in itself, what a card, by the way. What
Fabulous.
a card.
Superb
There
card.
was every single fight on that card I enjoyed. We'll go with the first fight we'll go with Puello versus Matias. What did you make of that fight? We'll go with that first.
Great fight. I did tip Matias to win by split decision, or well, he won by a majority decision. So that was one I got right. Yeah, I didn't think it was the robbery. A lot of people, mostly Dominicans, are saying. Yeah, Puello could have made it easier for himself if he boxed more, but I guess he wanted to put on a show, or I don't know if there's pressure from Turki Al-Sheikh, whether consciously or subconsciously, to put on a fight, and Puello paid for it. And yeah, he could find himself in the wilderness, unfortunately. Matias, meanwhile, got dropped by Matchroom after one bad night, and yeah, here he is back as a world champ, and it was great to see them make his next fight there and then in the ring. They brought Dalton Smith out. I mean, that's going to be a fascinating, very fascinating.
That's the one that made me, obviously, as a Yorkshireman, that made me very happy that Dalton is finally getting his shot at that world title. It was said Ricky did do an interview with him when we was in Sheffield, when we was in Doncaster, sorry. And he did say that's who he was eyeing up. His aim was to eye up the winner of Matias versus Puello. And it seemed like Turkey has just jumped the gun and said, Matias, don't celebrate too much. This is your next challenger. Enjoy that belt for a few days. This Yorkshireman's about to take it. So
kudos to Matias in his broken English. He did say, "You want fighters, entertaining fighters. That's me." He's right. I mean, Matias' style is entertaining. So
yeah. But the fight itself, I felt Puello won the fight. I felt like he did enough to win the fight. But that being said, it was a good fight. I don't mind good fights like that. I think Puello, where you could give a bit of grace of him losing that fight, is late on in that fight where he didn't work enough. Matias was working whilst Puello was trying to hold on, and sort of he'd work early and then Matias would work late, and Matias work, and because he's got heavy hands, it looks a kind of way where you can steal them rounds. So I'm not mad at the decision. I really aren't. I think it was similar to the Green versus Savannah Marshall decision for me, that you're unlucky not to get the nod, but I'm also not going to call robbery because you didn't get the nod, sort of thing. Is a rematch warranted? Yeah, you could say so. It's the same as the Savannah versus Green. I think you could have a rematch. I wouldn't complain. But I did hear that Turkey has said that the winner of Matias versus Dalton will be fighting Puello after that. So it seems like that belt that's in circulation. Puello hasn't been thrown away. Clearly, Turkey's seen something there and felt that Puello did enough to come back. So that's what I like about these ring cards and Turkey's cards per se, is that the loser doesn't get thrown away. I'm a great opponent, and like I need these people who do come up short when they take the good fights, when they take the hard fights, the fights we want to see them in. If they come up short, we need to see them again. We need to see them back in there with another top guy, not get sat on the shelf for 10, 12 months. We haven't seen them, then they come back out. They roll back out to a tune-up who we're not bothered about. So hopefully Puello. Say that again, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you, exactly that. I mean, if fighters are going to take hard fights, they're going to lose some, and they should be rewarded for taking those fights by getting other opportunities. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that is one good thing Turkey's doing in bringing back guys who take the hard fights and lose. So,
Yeah, we have after that fight, we had David Morrell with his comeback fight after his loss to David Benavidez. He fought I can't say his name.
Katayev.
Kakayev. That's it.
Yeah.
Kakayev. He fought Kakayev. David Morrell winning. Is it a split decision? Did he win?
Was a split.
A split decision. Morrell getting dropped in the process of that fight. Yet another close fight where you could have scored that to Katayev. I felt sorry for him that he didn't win that fight, especially with the knockdown. I think if you get a knockdown in a fight, especially a fight that goes the distance, is very hard not to win. The other guy really has to do a lot more to secure that decision. I don't know if Morrell did it, but Morrell certainly showed that he's a good fighter. He's a vulnerable fighter. He can get hurt. He can get dropped. But
yeah, I don't know. I hear fans use the word vulnerable. Getting dropped, by my definition, that don't make vulnerable.
When I say vulnerable, as in he is there to get hit. He showed it in the Benavidez fight how he fights. He's in the pocket. He's there to get hit. He will hit you, and you will have the ability to hit him. So he's in exciting fights where fans will want to see him because you don't know whether he's going to get hurt this fight or if he's going to hurt somebody. It's that where you go into that fight, you're not sure if he's fighting a puncher. It's going to be an exciting fight, and I think another good fight, really very action-packed fight. Katayev did very well. I felt sorry for him yet again. Another fight this weekend who you feel a little bit sorry for, but in a close fight, in a very good fight, and fair play to both of them for taking that fight. Fair play to them.
Yeah, great fight, as you said. I suspect strongly that the decision was a little bit political, given the
because of the IBA, shall we say?
Yeah, I just think the judges must have thought it's going to look really bad that in the week where he's been revealed failed a PED test that he then wins. I suspect they sacrificed him as a face-saving measure for Turkey and the show, because if he'd won,
there'd have been
questions. As it turns out, not many people were really talking about that failed drug test. So
that is true.
He got away with that. Any serious scrutiny, no one's asked him or his team or even the promoters about it. He put on a good performance. He'll stay in the rankings. And I suppose when people's memories have faded, which won't be long, it'll be right back in the mix. The thing is, for all these light heavyweights, they've got a long wait for any sort of serious crack at a world title. It looks like the unified champ Bivol's rubber match with Beterbiev is delayed. They haven't even got a date. There's talk about it'll be in Russia. So they've all got quite a bit of a wait. So they might as well stay active, especially if they're getting paid well, which I hoped Morrell and Katayev did.
Yeah, well, hopefully they did. Let me just. We have for me the fight of the night, performance of the night goes to Shakur Stevenson, and Williams Zepeda, because Williams Zepeda thought he pushed Shakur, he made Shakur work. I think Shakur really stood there and tried to prove a point that he doesn't need to run in order to win these fights. He doesn't need to use his footwork in order to to win these fights. He can use his defense. His defense was very good. He did get hit, but he was also fighting a fighter who was very determined to catch Shakur and threw. How many punches did he throw? I think he threw nearly over 500. Say that again.
Was it over 1,000? Was it?
Yeah, he threw a lot of punches, and Shakur, I think, limited him to like to landing 29% of his punches or something like that, which is crazy to say. He didn't really use his feet in this. He used his defense. He used his upper body movement really well. Behind that Philly shell or shoulder roll, whichever you want to call it. A really good performance from Shakur, and it was the performance he needed for his brand, for to really show people that he is the kind of fighter what he's been saying he is. I believe Shakur is an unbelievable talent. I think out of this quote unquote 4-6 kings or whatever you have, the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney's, Tanks, all of those Shakur's, I believe that he is all round the best out of the lot of them. Devin Haney for me is my favorite fighter. I prefer Devin to all of them, but I think Shakur is the one who you match him up against any of those fighters. I believe Shakur has the upper hand. I think Devin Haney and him is the closest fight because I think it's a skill-based fight. That fight isn't about who's going to knock each other out or whatever. This would be a skill-based fight between Devin and Shakur. I do believe Shakur's that little bit better, but on that night, you don't know what would happen in that fight. I think Shakur would outbox Tank because Tank would be looking for that big shot, and I don't think Shakur would allow him to land it. His defense is too good. And if he doesn't want to be in that pocket, he doesn't have to. He won't be in that pocket. But if he wants to stay in there, he can stay in there responsible as well. He showed that on Saturday. What did you make of his performance?
I partly agree with you. I do think Shakur is the best lightweight in the world. But that said, I still went away feeling a bit disappointed that he didn't stop Zepeda. Maybe that's because I'm in my head, Zepeda. I really wanted to see him get stopped and removed from the equation for good, because I really didn't like the way he became mandatory for 4 belts and then stalled, which suggests to me they're looking for the easiest option. I don't rate him amongst the top lightweights. I think he's very limited. I think he's got nothing but size and volume about him and not much else. So I would have hoped someone of Shakur's caliber would have been able to nail him repeatedly, especially as we've since seen Farmer drop him. But I don't know, maybe Shakur, that's going to be a limitation of him, you know, that his hands just won't hold up to unloading power shots, which is a shame because I think it means he'll never probably get that, you know, become like that sort of mainstream star, because there's only hardcores that'll appreciate what he's doing. I mean, put it this way, I think Tank, if he fought someone as easy to hit as Zepeda, you know, Zepeda would have got hurt bad by someone like Tank. And you know,
I felt like Shakur could have stopped him, especially in the 11th and the 12th. I think Shakur really stood his ground, and but like I say, it's the power aspect, and I felt like Shakur also, if he went through that fight, if he went through 10 rounds and his hands, there wasn't an issue with his hands, going for the knockout in the 11th and 12th and damaging your hands, or the risk of damaging your hands, it really wasn't worth it when he put on a masterclass after 3 rounds. I think Zepeda did well in the 3rd and maybe the 4th round, but then Shakur just showed his levels and picked him apart, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, that for me, Shakur, he came out of that with flying colours. Like you said, I'd like to see the stoppage. I really would have liked to see the stoppage, but I'm not mad at it.
I'll tell you, one thing I don't want to see now is him waste time trying to chase that tank fight. But try and make it, but we've seen recent events, Tank's just too unreliable, and I think Shakur has plenty of other very good rivals at lightweight, which he can cement his greatness against. There's the winner of Mason and Noakes, Schofield. There's a bit of needle there based on what happened last time. You know, a couple of the Cubans, Cruz, Herrera,
Murataya as well. He's fighting Cruz, I think, next.
Yeah. There's the Mongolian Erdenabat, I think his name is. So there's plenty of good fighters. So there's no need for him to sort of just hold out for that Tank fight, given how unreliable Tank is. So let's see Shakur do that. And then, of course, there's loads of great fighters at 140 when he's ready to move up. So,
right. Before we get to the main event, I'm just going to see if this will play, because this was my prediction before the main event, last week's show. Because both men can punch, this fight could be over in a blink of an eye. I'm telling you, like the first 2 rounds, don't blink, because both of these two can punch. And I don't know. I feel like there's something weird going to happen, and I feel like one of these two might get clipped early. And that was my prediction. For if you heard that, could you hear that, right? I didn't want to interrupt it. Yeah, that was my prediction for the Berlanga versus Shiraz on Thursday when me and CJ was talking about it, and I don't know. Like I said, I said 2 rounds. It went a couple over 2. It was 4 rounds when Shiraz detonated on Berlanga. But from the beginning of the fight, I thought the fight started. Both men sort of tried to take the middle of the ring. Berlanga started using his jab. His jab was quite quick, to be quite honest with you. He's landing that jab quite well. But Shiraz started getting a little bit physical with him. Anytime they were in close, Shiraz would push him back, physically push him, then land his shots. And 4th round comes, they both decided they wanted to stand with each other and trade. And Shiraz detonated a 3-shot combination on Berlanga and dropped him. And what a shot it was! What a shot it was! What did you make when you saw that land?
Yeah.
What was your decision? What did you think this fight would be? Actually, what was your prediction for this?
Well, I predicted Hamza would probably win on points because the flat way he went out against Adames, I thought confidence might be low. Based on the Adames performance, I even doubted has he got that in him to sort of, has he got that venom at the top level? So I thought he'd get behind his jab and just steadily rack up the points. So from that point of view, glad he proved me wrong. I was impressed with that. But yeah, when he unloads those power shots, I mean, he gets so much leverage because he's got such long arms. Beautiful to see. So yeah, great stuff. I still think there are question marks about him. I don't think we should get too excited yet. And I'm saying that as a HAMZA fan. My first day in boxing media, I got to speak to HAMZA. So I've followed him for quite some time, but style-wise, I think Berlanga was a good matchup for him. So we know he's not just a weight bully, which is what some suspected he was at middleweight. Yeah, he's not a weight bully because if nothing else,
he was a weight bully till he wasn't. That's the issue. He was a weight bully till he wasn't. I don't believe in weight bullies anyway. I don't believe in the whole weight bully, because I think, like it showed against Adamas, you're only a weight bully till you're not, which it doesn't work out like that. Like, you're still killing yourself to make that weight. You are damaging yourself. Maybe the caliber of opponents you're fighting, it's not fully caught up to you, because you know what I mean? Your level's above. But once you start to reach that level, what you are at, and you're fighting fighters at that level or above, the weight certainly makes a big difference. As in, you can't be your full self, and you need to be your full self to fight a caliber of fighter.
What I class a weight bully as is someone who can only win because of their size advantage. So anyway, he's dismissed that because he didn't have a size advantage over Berlanga, and Berlanga was probably bigger and stronger than him by some way. But as I said, style-wise, I think Berlanga was a good matchup for him. The 2 times that HAMZA's really struggled was against slippery operators. The good news is there's not many of those at super middleweight, but there are some killers. The division's full of lethal punchers, and he's going to be coming up against them. So we'll see how good he really is, because these rivals can all hit like he can. So it will come down to skill and mindset. Another thing that impressed me, though, is he was totally comfortable being like the headliner on a big show in New York. You know, he's made for the big time. He's made for the big time.
He handled it. He handled it well, and that was the ultimate test, really, to have somebody like Berlanga in your face, in his city, talking cash money, talking all that. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, especially with these Americans. They are very brash. They're very loud. You know what I mean? They will have you think, if you're not sure of yourself, they'll have you thinking that you don't deserve to be where you are. That's what Americans do. They're that loud that if you aren't comfortable and you aren't sure of yourself, they'll have you questioning yourself. So HAMZA, like you said, HAMZA, how he held himself, how his responses to Berlanga, how he's speaking to the media, everything, and the performance. He looked comfortable in there. He didn't look like he was a rabbit in the headlights in the first couple of minutes or anything like that. And even when he hurt Berlanga, he was patient, because he picked the shots. He didn't waste anything. When he dropped him the first time, he got up. The referee, for me, then he put them together. He picked his shots, landed again perfectly. I think a 4-shot combination that time. And the referee sort of allowed Berlanga out of that round, because he counted to 10, stood there, and he kept telling Shiraz to go back. So, and even when Berlanga came out when they came out in the fifth round, I think he threw 3 shots and landed 2 of them and got him out of there. So he didn't rush his work. He was patient when he had his man hurt. On a big stage, main event, in front of the world, in front of Turkey, in front of everyone, and to do that, fair play to Shiraz. I always thought when he came up against someone big, he'd struggle. I thought this fight could go either way. I had this as a 50-50 because I wasn't fully sold on Berlanga, and I also felt like. I also have this feeling that 2025 is the year where frauds get exposed and the truth comes out, who's the real fighters. And I think so far this year it's not going too bad. That we're seeing the cream is going to rise to the top this year, and the ones who's been pretending is going to show. I feel like it this year. It's going to show. So I felt like like I said on Thursday, one of them was gonna. I just felt like it was gonna end up in a knockout. That one of them 2 was gonna land, and whoever landed first was gonna win. And thankfully it was Shiraz. Great for Britain. We've been getting beat up a bit too much lately, so. And unfortunately, same's going to happen next weekend. So, They'll be back to losing ways next weekend. So
let's see. I just want to get your view on. Obviously, people are talking about maybe fighting Canelo next year, but
I'm not interested. I want to see him
because it will come down to whether Canelo wants it. But how do you think Shiraz? How does he measure up against the other of the crop of really talented upcomers? So you got Pacheco, you got Mbili, you got Iglesias. He's fighting
Pacheco's the one I want next. I think Shiraz, all these fights are 50-50. Shiraz against Mbili, 50-50. Shiraz versus Pacheco, 50. Because these guys, they've all got that one win where you think, oh, because Pacheco's win against Stephen Nelson is a good win. A veteran fighter in Stephen Nelson, that's a very good win for Pacheco. That was his step up. Belanga was Shiraz's step up, let's say. You know, I know obviously he lost, he drew to Adames, who was a world champion, but the stage and how big of a fight it was, Belanga step up. So Mbili as well, Mbili needs that. I think they're trying to make Mbili versus, who was it? I can't remember the name.
Lester Martinez.
Lester Martinez. Yes, that's the one. Lester Martinez. They're trying to make that fight, which for both guys, that's a step up for both guys in that fight. So the winner of that fight, even the loser of that fight, the super middleweight division right now is probably the most stacked division we've got. Who hopefully they can get active because Turkey seems to be invested in that division now. So. Yeah. If they are active, that could quickly be the best division in boxing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because they've got the size to get knockouts, but they're still small and fast enough to
yeah,
technically exceptional. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting division. I think that fight was billed as a final eliminator, and the WBC is saying that Shiraz is now the WBC mandatory. But again, it'll all depend what Canelo wants to do.
Yeah, the thing is now boxing's moving. I'm a bit like every fight you win the outcome don't have to be a Canelo fight. It don't have to be this fight. It don't have to be the end game. It always feels like you win a fight and everybody's looking for the end game fight. They're looking for the end because the Canelo fight's an end game fight. That's all it is. It's a cash out fight. It's the end game. So everybody's looking for, as soon as a fighter wins, who can he fight for cash? Who can he fight to make? It's like, come on. There's the division is active. There's fighters fighting. There's different fighters winning. Caleb Plant just lost. You know what I mean? Jamal Charlo just won. So there's different fighters. There's so many fights in these divisions that we can just go through, and we don't have to look at the end game because the end game Canelo right now is he's got Crawford problems, and I'm not even sure he's going to get past Crawford. That's the end game. That is the end game for Crawford. That being the end game, that's fine. For Shiraz, he doesn't need a Canelo fight. There's enough money in boxing right now with Turkey that fighters do not need a Canelo fight straight away. You don't need a Canelo fight to get that because you're getting paid. Turkey is paying you, so you don't need the end game of a Canelo fight straight away. Build a career of legacy that you can go through this division, which is a very good division. And if you can beat Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, Mbili, Lester Martinez, any of those guys, that's your legacy. That's your legacy because whilst you're fighting those guys, you're not getting paid pennies to fight those guys either. You're getting paid decent money to fight those guys. I say decent. You're getting paid a hell of a lot of money to fight those guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, I'll tell you, if Shiraz is going the WBC route, I would actually think if they don't make Mbili v Martinez for September, then just make Shiraz v Mbili for the interim WBC for the November card. I think because they both fought recently. Obviously, HAMZA just fought now, and Mbili fought just 2-3 weeks
ago.
Yeah,
two
so
weeks ago. Yeah.
I'll have put them two against each other on the November the 22nd card. They'll have roughly the same sort of prep time.
Well, that's where that fight, even if the Leicester Mercedes fight happens, that's where it's going to be. So it seems like that no matter what, Billy seems to be, he's going to be fighting on that card. Shiraz, I think there's plenty of time for Shiraz to make that card anyway.
Yeah, so for the November one, yeah.
Well, Matthias and Dalton Smith's on that card, aren't they? That's the November card as well.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's going to be another super card, but alternatively, then Charlo's ranked number 2.
Yep.
Shiraz against Charlo, he's another big name.
That's what I mean. The division is full of big names. It's full of good fights. So you don't need the end game. You don't need a Canelo fight. You don't need the name Canelo right now. Everyone who fights him, the luster, if you beat him, gets less because right now you beat Canelo you got Canelo when he was on the downslide. There's no the upside of beating Canelo is you've got him on your career. Bivol's got him on his resume, and what's it? You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like you don't need the Canelo fight for your career to be complete. There's plenty of fights in that division especially, that you can make money and make a legacy whilst you're doing it, and don't have your legacy based on just beating one man.
Agreed. Well, let's hope they will continue to deliver.
Yes, let's hope they continue to deliver. We've got next week, as we've got on the bottom of the screen and the banner, the 505 watch party for Usyk Dubois 2. Let's see if we get a new undisputed heavyweight champion and still. But Ra, thank you for joining me tonight, standing in for CJ and Ricky. I appreciate you for that.
I hope they're both okay, by the way.
Nah, they're good. They're just busy. They're just busy. So, but I appreciate you jumping in and helping me out. But to talk about that card, because I really wanted to have a conversation about that card because I enjoyed it. It was a good weekend of boxing. It was the ring free was certainly showed what Times Square, what they wanted Times Square to be like.
Yeah.
And it delivered. I'll give Turkey his credit when it's due, and I'll give criticism where it's due. And this fight card and fights delivered. And also, just before we log off, I want to mention he did on Friday the live sparring to get on the Canelo Crawford undercard. That was exceptional. That was a brilliant idea, and it was so good to watch. Just watching these fighters spar, because we hear about sparring stories and this, and we don't know what's true. We don't know if moments are clipped up. We don't know if someone's put a video together. Whereas we get to see these sparring sessions, and there were some good fighters there sparring live, and I enjoyed that. So it was great, good innovation from Turkey to actually make that. I hope there's more of that happens as well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I did. I thought that was really good. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you, Ra. I'll be back Thursday. Hopefully Ricky or CJ will be back. But if not, I'll be here anyway. Ra might be with me, but we appreciate you, Ra, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. I shall see you all on Thursday. Peace.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I talk my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by it. Say, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full span, yeah. It's another one. It's another one, yeah.